We try to define our ideal customer, to empathize with him, and to define a good problem statement. With this information, we try to find out creative ideas and to identify good ones. Now you have to build the prototype, but the point is that you have to build it as quick as possible and with the minimum amount of investment. When people have to define a problem and a possible solution idea, most of them start thinking how to implement it technically. Create a website, do some business partnership, hire people, and so on. The idea becomes then unstable because it requires a lot of money and you don't even know if it will work. Remember that design thinking is an iterative process, and maybe the idea that you had could be wrong. This is why you have to be quick and spend less money as possible to prototype it. If it turns out that the idea is wrong, you didn't lose too much time and too much money.
Creating prototypes helps turn ideas into something real and understandable. Prototypes can be simple models focusing on key function or more final versions. We use basic materials to build them, just enough to test how things work, whether it is a function or an experience. The prototype step is strictly connected to the following test phase. Feedback from testing helps us learn more about what users like or don't like. And we use that info to make the prototype better or, if needed, start over. In this situation, failing is not a big deal. Failing early is okay because it helps us learn and create a better prototype next time.
To do so, the prototype phase could help you to create a prototype and not the final product. It helps you to define that the assumption that you had were right and learn from that. If it's wrong, don't worry. You can do it again. For example, if you are a web company and you want to create a new website or an app, you can draw it on papers and discuss it with the teams and with all the stakeholders. If your product is an hardware product, you can use a 3D printer to create a prototype. The most difficult things to prototype are the things that are non-touchable, like one feature on the website or one feature of a new product. But again, you have to find out the best way to prototype with less effort and amount of money. And the best way to do it is using the Wizard of Oz method. As the tool name said, there is a wizard. The wizard is the person who manipulates the environment without your tester know it. The wizard controls the machine or the process, and all the process is fake, but it helps you to understand if you are going in the right direction with your idea or not. I'll give you an example. IBM used the Wizard of Oz to test their new feature, Talk to Text, a feature that had to write down what users say. It was many decades ago, and they invited potential customers to try out their new prototype for a speech-to-text system. There was an empty room with a screen and a microphone. The tester had to speak into the microphone, and the words magically appeared on the screen. As you probably already understood, there were a person in the other room, a skilled typist, who listened to what the tester said and typed it down almost automatically. But the interesting thing about this experiment is what IBM found out. This experiment showed IBM how the user would react to the new technology. Even with near-perfect speech-to-text translation, many users found it too bothersome to use over a long period of time. People's throat would get sore from talking for hours on end. It was noisy and unsuited for works on confidential material.